Welcome to A Christian in the World of Texts, where commitment to Christian orthodoxy meets open, serious scholarship. Here we explore the Bible, literary art, and world literature, with curiosity, depth, and passion. What is literature? It sounds like one of the easiest questions in the world. We all think we know the answer. Novels, poems, Shakespeare, Hemingway, Tolkien. But once you start comparing cultures, something surprising happens. Different civilizations have understood literature in remarkably different ways. And those differences reveal something profound about humanity itself. In English, the Cambridge Dictionary defines literature as written artistic works, especially those with a high and lasting artistic value. That definition contains three important ideas. Literature is written, artistic, and recognized as having lasting value. It is a good modern definition, but it is not the only one. Let's travel around the world for a few minutes and ask different traditions what literature is. The English word literature comes from the Latin literatura, from littera, meaning a letter of the alphabet. Literature, then, is something written. But notice the limitation. What about oral traditions? What about epic songs, folk tales, proverbs? According to this idea, they don't quite fit. Let's look at the Hebrew a second. Hebrew takes us in a slightly different direction. The word sifrut comes from the same root as sefer, book. Creation, kniževnost, also developed a similar idea, related to kniga, book. So, literature is once again something preserved in books. A third tradition is Arabic. Arabic tells us a completely different story. Today, the Arabic word for literature is adab, but originally it had nothing to do with books. Imagine life in the Arabian desert. There are no hotels, no restaurants, no supermarkets. A traveler survives only because another family welcomes him into its tent. To invite strangers to a banquet, to feed them, to honor them, this is what was called adab. Over time, hospitality became a symbol of noble character. The word gradually changed. It no longer referred merely to hosting a banquet. It came to describe refinement, discipline, courtesy, and moral excellence. Later, with the rise of Islam, Muhammad is reported to have said, "Addabani Rabbi fa ahsana ta'dibi," which means, "My Lord disciplined me and made my discipline excellent." Here, addabani, he uses the word adab. So here, adab means moral and spiritual formation. Finally, centuries later, the same word, adab, came to describe the literature studied by educated people. That's how it came to the modern meaning, literature, adab. French contributes another idea. Besides the ordinary word for literature, littérature, French also has the expression belles-lettres, beautiful writing. Here, beauty itself becomes central. The Chinese concept of literature developed along a very different path. The classical term wen originally meant a pattern, design, or ornament. The visible order found in nature and in human culture. Gradually, it came to refer to refined writing, learning, and eventually literature itself. Unlike the Latin concept of literature, which emphasizes writing, or the Arabic concept, which stresses moral refinement, the Chinese tradition viewed literature primarily as an expression of cosmic and moral order. In the Chinese tradition, beauty served truth. Literature was expected not merely to delight the reader, but to lead the reader towards the Tao, the right way of living. Even this brief overview reveals that different traditions have understood literature in remarkably different ways. The Latin tradition emphasizes writing. The Hebrew tradition emphasizes the book. The Arabic tradition emphasizes the formation of character. The French tradition celebrates literary beauty. And the Chinese tradition sees literature as the embodiment of truth and the moral order of the universe. And yet, isn't it remarkable that the Bible seems to embrace all of these dimensions at once? It is written revelation. It is the book of books. It forms character. It is profoundly beautiful. And above all, it reveals the truth of God. And yet, I still hesitate to call the Bible simply literature. Why? Because literature and Scripture are not identical. Scripture certainly possesses extraordinary literary beauty, but Christians read it primarily as God's revelation. That makes the Bible unique. So, if Scripture contains magnificent literature, but it is more than literature, then how should Christians actually read it? Should we pay attention only to its theology? Or should we also pay attention to its artistry? That question leads us directly into the next lecture. We'll explore one of the most influential ideas in 20th century literary theory, literariness, the qualities that make a text genuinely literary. And we'll ask an even bigger question. What happens when we apply that idea to the Bible? If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing and share your thoughts in the comments. I'll be glad to hear them. Until next time, keep reading and exploring.